I used an app on this smartphone to grow a 6-figure business from the palm of my hand, and you can do the exact same thing. Obviously, if you read the title of this video, then you know that I'm talking about the Novo business banking platform, which I've talked about a number of times before. But there have been a few pretty big changes recently that I want to share with you. If you watch my channel, then you know that I've used my fair share of business banking platforms, and while different tools have different strengths, I personally found Novo to be the best one for my simple side hustle, hence the reason it was at number 1 on my recent best business bank account list. And I've been using the Novo platform to manage the finances of this YouTube channel for several years at this point. Now, full transparency, Novo is sponsoring this video, but like I said, I've used this platform for several years before they ever reached out to me, and it has legitimately helped me build my YouTube business from my smartphone, and it can do the exact same thing for you, no matter what your small business or side hustle currently is. And if you're on the fence about whether or not you need a business bank account, hang around to the end of the video because I've got some pretty good advice on that topic. So if you do want to learn more about Novo, I will leave a link for that down in the description, but first things first, the core features. Novo offers you a robust checking account in the palm of your hand, allowing you to track your income and expenses, pay bills, send professional invoices to get paid, and it integrates with other third-party tools that you may be using to run your business, but more on that later. You of course are going to get both a virtual and physical debit card for those business transactions, and you can organize all of your business funds using a feature called Novo Reserves, allowing you to set aside funds for things like taxes, payroll, and really any large business expense that you need to plan for. You can set a fixed or percentage amount to automatically be set aside into these reserves every single time that you get paid, which I personally use for my taxes, since as a freelancer, I am responsible for setting aside and paying those taxes quarterly. So if I forgot to set that money aside, I could end up in a huge mess. So to keep the IRS from busting down my door, I have set up a reserve for taxes, and every time I get paid, 30% of that money is automatically set aside into taxes as if I never even saw it, which makes the tax bill hurt slightly less. But like I said, you could use this for really whatever you need, and currently you can create up to 10 different reserves. Before we get to some of the best features, I do want to rip the band-aid and let you know that Novo does come in at the whopping price of free. There's no monthly fees or minimum balance requirements, and get this, you can withdraw cash at any ATM around the world for free. Let that sink in for a second. I'll wait. Literally, when I landed in Paris a few months ago, I had no cell service, I didn't speak the language, and I had no cash on me. And instead of wandering around looking for an in-network ATM or trying to get the best conversion rate like an idiot, I just walked up to whatever ATM I could find, got my cash, and Novo not only didn't charge me a fee on their end, but they reimbursed me the fee that the ATM provider charged me on the other side of the world. So yeah, it's a pretty awesome feature. There is a $27 insufficient funds fee, so bear that in mind, and otherwise it's completely free. When it comes to getting paid, you've got a few different options, the first of which being creating those professional invoices that I mentioned earlier. Their built-in invoicing tool allows you to input your customer information and service details, select what payment terms and methods you would like to accept, including credit or debit cards, ACH transfers, Google and Apple Pay, Venmo, and several others, and they will email it directly to your customer to get you paid as fast as possible. Plus, like I mentioned earlier, you can also integrate with some of your favorite third-party payment platforms like Stripe, Square, and PayPal, giving your customers even more payment options. And if you do decide to take advantage of some of those integrations, one of their newest features is called Novo Boosts, which allows you to access straight payments in a matter of hours instead of days, letting you get paid even faster and keeping your cash flow moving. Outside of those payment tools, Novo integrates with over 15 third-party platforms like Slack, QuickBooks, Xero, eBay, Amazon, and tons of others. And as someone who uses QuickBooks for my bookkeeping, I love that I don't have to manually transfer transaction data. They just talk to each other, and I don't have to do anything. Plus, in partnering with many of these third-party tools, they've also developed an extensive list of Novo perks, offering you nearly $3,000 in various discounts on business tools, like 20% off of LegalZoom when you form your business entity, 3 months for free with the Gusto payment platform, and one of my personal favorites, free processing on your first $5,000 of credit card transactions through Stripe, which I personally used to save hundreds of dollars with that perk alone. All right, it's easy to sit here and read to you off of a website, but let's hop inside my Novo account to show you what this actually looks like for an operating business. When you first open the app, you'll have your balances at the top of the screen, including your main checking accounts, as well as any reserves that you have set up. You'll also see a quick snapshot of all of the money going in and out of your account this month, and scrolling down from there, you'll see the different menus that we've already talked about, like your recent activity, invoices, Novo reserves, and your deposits menu. On the activity tab, not only can you see every transaction on your accounts in greater detail, including how much went into each of your reserves if it was a credit, but you can also take notes here on each transaction and directly attach a receipt to that transaction. But also, under the Financial Insights tab, you can see your account income, spending, and net cash flow over different periods of time. The Move Money tab is where you're able to deposit checks using mobile deposit, create and send an invoice, and pay your bills, including international payments. Obviously, you can view all of your account information and settings under the Accounts tab, and lastly, all the way in the bottom right corner, you have all of the different integrations for third-party platforms that I mentioned under the Apps tab. Having used a lot of different financial platforms, I personally think that this app walks a pretty good line between giving you the information that you need to run your business while remaining very simple and easy to use and learn. But the best part is, if we head over to the desktop platform, you can see that it looks pretty much identical, which I am a huge fan of, since a lot of platforms have an app, but it honestly feels like an afterthought, and you can't really do everything from the app unless you go to the desktop platform. Whereas with Novo, you really can do pretty much everything from the app that you can do from the desktop platform, and as a result, I almost never access my account on my computer. Now, the last feature that we have not yet talked about is the newest feature from Novo, and that is Novo Funding, which allows you to access up to $50,000 in funding for your business in a matter of minutes, which is definitely not going to apply to everyone, and if you're just getting started, then you probably don't need this. But if you are rapidly growing and you need funds to pour gasoline on the fire of growth, then this is a quick and easy way to get the capital that your business needs to continue growing. So all in all, the app gives you all of the tools and features that you need to run your business without being overly complex and confusing, in my opinion. Now, I want to be clear that if you're managing a larger company with tons of employees and more complex bookkeeping and financial needs, then there's probably better tools out there for that scenario. But if you're anyone running just a small business or even a side hustle like I am, and you just want to keep your business and personal expenses separate, then this is a fantastic tool, because doing that is so important for a million reasons. And having tried a ton of different platforms, Novo really is the best option for that scenario. Last thing really quick, at the start of the video, I mentioned those of you who might be on the fence about getting a business account to begin with, and whether or not you actually need it for your side hustle. And the fact that you're even asking that question means that the answer is most likely yes. You don't have to be an established S-Corp or LLC to be considered a business. If you are providing a good or service and being compensated for that, then you are a business, even if that means you're just a sole proprietorship. That was the case for me when I first started this YouTube channel, and when things started to gain a little bit of traction, I transitioned to an LLC, or limited liability company, and eventually I reached an income threshold that moving to an S corporation made the most sense for tax purposes. And Novo was able to see me through all of those changes pretty seamlessly. But opening a Novo account does not require you to have a formalized business with an EIN number. You can literally get started as a sole proprietorship with your social security number. I was recording in my college dorm room with an iPhone when I opened my account, but I knew that I wanted to take this YouTube thing pretty seriously, and I needed to separate my business and personal expenses, which is exactly what Novo allowed me to do. And over the past few years, I have literally been able to grow and manage what is now a more legitimate six-figure business using an app on my smartphone, which I think is really cool. But as always, this is just my opinion, so I'd love to know what you think of Novo down in the comment section below. And if you do want to learn more and sign up, then I will leave a link for that down below the like button as well. As always, take it easy, and I'll see you in the next one.